I'm gonna also share my screen, and basically I'll go over the slides and what we are planning for today. So everyone, can you see my desktop? Okay, good. So here what we're gonna do, let's first have a little bit introduction, and just I want to see that everyone is doing well, everyone is safe. I know we are passing a critical time, but you guys need to be strong. I know it's really stressful having all this happening around us, also keeping track on your schedule, doing all the studies and taking exams. Everything is difficult. I totally understand, but we will try to do our best. So, you completed all of your spring courses. So far, you are done with all of your spring tests, right? Okay, great. So, officially, the late spring starts on Monday. But we usually meet on Saturday, so we will consider today is the first day of our late spring class, and we will continue 12 weeks. And just because of the current situation, the university decided to make it completely online. But we all the professors are trying to make it as interactive as possible and to make sure our presence using the Blackboard platform or the WebEx as needed. But don't feel that you are kind of detached, you are excluded. Anytime if you need any help, not only to me, any professor, I would request please contact your professor. We all understand the situation, but we don't need to forget that we have another goal. The goal is learning. So we will not compromise on that point. So we'll try our best balancing everything, but we will also keep our focus on learning. Anyone has any point or question or good? Can you hear me? At least try to nod. Or you can chat me if you don't feel comfortable to talk. There is a little chat box here. You see, there is a little chat box, so you can also chat here. So here there is a little chat box, so you can chat or ask me question anytime. Okay, so now let's start our class officially. First, I'm going to share my computer, and first I will take you to the Blackboard. You all are familiar with the Blackboard, and I know most of you already registered the courses. Only a couple of students didn't register yet. I'm not sure whether you will continue because I sent almost like 5 to 10 emails to register the course, because if you don't register the course, you cannot get access to the Blackboard materials. So now I'll show you how I designed the Blackboard and where I will post all of the materials. Then I'll go over the syllabus quickly, and then we will have a little bit of course contents that we're gonna learn today. So basically here, this is the platform that we're gonna use, and every Monday morning I will post announcements. So the announcements will also be sent to your inbox, email inbox. So make sure you check the email. Sometimes it might be a little long because I try to be clear, and sometimes it might be short, but please pay your attention to this weekly announcement. And usually I will post it on Monday, and that will give you all instructions for that week. Then I will show you here is your syllabus. So for this syllabus here, uh, everything is written here, but I will again go over it. I would suggest you, if you have a printer and paper at home, then please print it out and try to read it quickly. If you don't, that's fine. Just make sure you will read the syllabus completely at least one time. But definitely, I will go over the key points. So now let's see here. some other items, and the most important part of the Blackboard is content. So how I designed this part? So basically here I created some weekly module, right? So our semester is for 12 weeks, and you will see here you have a module for every week. So today we are meeting via WebEx. If I have any WebEx, definitely I will let you know. I'll especially try to hold the WebEx before the exams, and you will have some tests, and those weeks actually I highlighted like using this red color so that when you look at the content, you can see that I have a test in 2 or 3 weeks. Now, how I designed every week's module. For example, I can show you one week. Let's see week 3. So this week or for any week, you will see several folders inside the weekly content, and some folders have some mandatory requirements. For example, this week we will learn chapter 13, accounting for reorganization and liquidation. You will have some assignments, case studies, so you have some folders here. And at the same time, I'm gonna post some optional items, some videos or some website links. These are optional, but these folders are required. And of course, the case study, you have to check it, you have to upload your assignments here. Now, if I take you to a folder inside, what is it? Of course, you will find the PowerPoint slide videos. And then what I did, I'm still doing, for every week, every chapter, I have several video lectures where what I did, I recorded my lectures. Sometimes I am using the slides. Sometimes I'm taking you to the electronic book so that if you, I muted it, but whenever you get a chance, you will watch it. So I have all video recorded slides. If I teach something directly from the book, I will take you to the book. I have all my lectures here because sometimes it's hard to accommodate everything on slides. So I'll take you directly to the ebook. And then I have some problem solvings here. So what I did for these problem solvings, I actually solved every problem as if I would be doing in class, in real person. So if you watch the video, you will see that I have used Surface Pro and some software that where I'm annotating, I'm writing. So you can here enlarge this video and you can watch and you can see as if we are doing the work like in face-to-face sessions. So my goal and my request would be that you make sure you watch these videos and you solve all those problems with me, and this is the first priority. And of course, at the same time, I would expect you to read the textbook. But I feel reading textbook might be overwhelming. Still, it's better to read the textbook if you really want to get like an A, 100% grades. But if you just watch the videos, definitely you will be fine with the exams. But for your learning purposes, I would expect you to read the textbook and solve all assignment problems. Every chapter, I have some hand notes, assignments, and solutions. So this is how I actually organized all those weekly contents. So any questions so far? Any questions? Let me see. Let me see if you have any question. No question? Okay, great, Rebecca. So now I see 20. Great. Yeah, I was expecting 20. All of you are here. I'm very happy to see all of your faces. And I hope again that you will have a great start of this semester. So now let's try to take a look again on our syllabus first, and I will give you a brief idea what we're gonna learn in this course. So this is called an advanced topics in financial accounting. And of course, we'll learn some advanced topics, and this will be kind of diversified topics. It's not very consistent. It will be diversified in that sense. Some you will learn directly from your basic accounting concepts. We will focus on some standard settings, SEC filings, which might be a part of your BEC if you think of your CPA exams. Some might be directly related to your FAR part because we're gonna learn nonprofit and government accounting. So it's kind of a mix. But definitely the expectation is that you have all those basic accounting knowledge and you didn't forget anything. So if I take you to the course here, you will see we will focus on some standard settings, accounting for bankruptcy, legal reorganization, or liquidation. Then definitely a major part of the course will be nonprofit and government accounting. And I would say nonprofit and government is really very important part. Those who already took the FAR or those who are planning, then you will find about 10 or 15% will be from these nonprofit and governmental accounting. And these nonprofit and especially the governmental accounting, we'll learn later this semester, which followed like modified accrual method. It's really tricky. So first, the beginning of the contents will be a little bit light, and later we will see more intense and a little bit difficult contents. So here again, we have two major objectives of this course. First, if I want to introduce you the advanced topics, and then again, we will kind of recap, refresh all of our basic accounting knowledge, and application is also important. So I'll show you, you need to do some short case study that will kind of test you how to apply all of these learnings in real world. So here it's kind of an idea of what every chapters will be covering. And then I would suggest you to focus on the textbook. Focus on this textbook. So I know those who are Sacred Heart graduate, you actually took my advanced accounting course, and the good part is that it is the same textbook we use, but the chapters that we didn't cover in undergrad, we are gonna cover it now. So it is the same textbook, Advanced Accounting Hoyle's 13th edition. If you already have that book, that's great. If you don't have the book, I would suggest it's good to save the book, to buy the book. And I was just looking for one thing. Let me check if I do like this Advanced Accounting um, 13th edition ebook. And I found there are several options. You don't need to buy a physical book. You can buy an ebook that starts from 24 bucks. Or even if you want to buy an ebook or you can rent it, it's not that much. Ebook is from Amazon, it's renting, I think it starts from 45 bucks. But please have this book with you, especially those who are planning for your CPA exam. This will be a great reference, and it's good to have the books. So let me check one thing. Here I will just go to my meeting box. How many of you have already the book? You can type in the chat box. You see here this little bubble. You can type it or you can turn on your microphone and see how many of you have the textbook. Taylor, Patrick said I have the book. Who else? Very good. So I see some of you. Yeah, very good. I know, Rebecca, it's in the mail and now like the delivery is taking a long time because of the situation. I hope you will receive it as soon as you can. Yeah, Tatian, I know it will take a little bit time to receive the physical book. And many students, they love to read from the ebook, but kind of like old fashions like me, I prefer the physical hard copy of the book. So if you could manage it, the hard copy, that would be great. If you don't have it, you can tell me. I can scan some pages and share it with you privately. But I prefer, of course, to have a book with me always. And because it's not only for this course, it's not only for your CPA exam, even in your real life, if you need to solve anything, then definitely you can you can always check the textbook, and you can always see what you learned in your classroom. Even in your real life, the textbook will be really important. And I prefer this smart book. It's from McGraw-Hill. If you would like to buy the electronic book, that's great. And then you will see that the book is actually showing you, giving you some electronics table of contents. You can easily move from page to pages. Some chapters are highlighted that you really need to focus on it. You can also annotate it, highlight it. So I love to have this electronic book too, but it's totally up to you whether you will have a physical hard copy of the book or electronic books. So now here I request one more thing, please, that you need to spend on. This is only one case study, and that case study will be used for the AOL assessment purposes. What is the AOL assessment? So for our accreditation purposes, we have to assess every program. And for the master's program, we need to assess the program based on students' knowledge and understanding. So we have a couple of goals. One of the major goal is that the application of advanced level accounting knowledge in a real context. Another goal is the comprehensive knowledge. And for this AOL, you will have to write one case, solution of the case, and this case you have to purchase it from here, Harvard Business School. I believe it should not take much. I'm not sure, maybe few dollars. Let me check. So it is actually $8, $9. So this is the only request because it's strongly prohibited to share the electronic copy. So that's why I'm requesting you to buy this case. All other articles, case study, I made it by myself, so you don't need to worry about buying anything. It's only one case. And then I might suggest you some articles. Some article reading will be part of your test. So everything I'll provide except this case, Harvard Business Review case, a letter from prison. I also will give you the instruction how to solve the case, and this textbook. These are my requests. You have to have it for next 12 weeks. And for this AOL case, another thing definitely I'll tell you later. For our course purposes, I will grade it. But this case, all of your submissions will be sent to some external professors and they will grade it again. That will be a blind grading. No one will know the name of the students, but the other professors, external professors, will check the case and just assess what our students learned. So this case study, I would suggest you to take it seriously because that will be used for our overall program evaluation purposes. Okay, so let me check if you have any questions so far. Any question? Everyone is following me? Am I going too quick, fast, or okay? Let me know, or at least you can type or chat. So good. Okay, Lindsay. So the speed is good, and you can hear me clearly. I'm using a small headphone, so I hope it's fine. And everything is recorded. I'll also post it later in case you miss anything. Okay, so let's go back to our syllabus again. Here you will see that um, when we're gonna start a chapter, what we used to do, those who took my course before, usually first we need to know the concept. And for the concept, we use some PowerPoint slides. So what I'm gonna do, for every week, every chapter, I have my slides ready and all recorded, and those I will have voiceover explanations. And so, first, you can listen all those slides. Second, you can read the slides. Third, to know it better, and especially that is recommended just for your best learning purposes, read this chapter. So you have several options. If you are a visual learner, just watch the slides whenever you get a chance. If you think reading helps you best, read it by yourselves. So you have all options, all materials. And of course, once we know the concept, we will have some assignment problems. So some problems I just showed you, I already recorded it and you can watch the video. Some problems are similar. I didn't have video for every problem, but the solutions are up there. So you can watch few problems, do it with me virtually, and the other similar type of problems you can try, you can check with the solution. But anytime at any point you can reach me out and I can help you if you have any problem, any issue, or especially if you are struggling to keep pace on with your online courses. I'll be very happy to help you. So here again, I mentioned it again that you need to purchase this case. So now here, what we're gonna do, I actually mentioned everything. Now I want to focus on here. You will have 3 online tests. These tests are completely online. And I want to mention one thing. Everyone, please pay your attention. These online tests will be on Blackboard, and in one sense, an online test is an open book exam, right? So you will have everything in front of you. That's totally fine. You can check your own book, your own notes, but it must be only within you. For these online tests, please, you cannot collaborate with anyone. You cannot share your Excel files or solutions or questions or asking anything to other students. It's not good. It's unethical. It's violation. So for my test, what I did, unfortunately, I received or I heard some issues from some professors about this, which is really heartbreaking that you exchanged your exam and files. But what I'm gonna do it, I will be using one software. It is called Respondas software. Now let me ask you a question and you will type me. How many of you have heard about this software? Respondas. It's called Respondas. Have you heard about this Respondas software? Yes, no, anything? You can type it. For other courses, no. I see all of you are nodding your heads, so that means you haven't heard it. Let me check. Everyone is here. Okay, so you haven't heard about it. So this is a quick software. Yes, Karen, Patrick, you heard of it. Uh, yes, AOL, very good question. So I have some questions. Let me ask you. So most of you haven't heard about it. Victoria heard about it, but that's fine. I'll show you how it works. And I have another question from Pat. Pat says AOL. Yes, of course, for AOL, you will have a rubric, you will have questions. I will guideline you everything. So what is the Responder software? So it's a quick software and it's free to install. Once you install it, when you take your Blackboard exams, first thing before starting the exam, you have to close all of your programs, all of your applications, files, everything. So close everything on your computer, then click on the software, and then this software will directly take you to the Blackboard, and then you will just log in using your password, Sacred Heart ID. Simple. What you do, it will take you directly to the Blackboard, but your your screen is locked. You cannot get out of your screen. Now this responders has two options. One is just screen is locked. That means you cannot email, exchange the questions, or you cannot go to your Blackboard, you cannot Google anything. This is one option. It's called only lockdown browser. Another is called video recording. So I know our College of Health Profession and Nursing, they made it mandatory for all tests to record video of the test, but it sounds a little bit scary. So what I'm going to do, I will not keep the video option on. So that means that you will not be recorded. but for other colleges they do it, other professors they do it. You will not be recorded, but your browser will be locked down. So that means you cannot copy paste anything or exchange anything during the exam. So what we're gonna do for this software, here I actually posted you the link. Here, if you go here, link week 1, you have to click this link. You have to install the software. They have both like Windows version, and they have here another Mac version. Just install the software. It will take 5 seconds, I believe, not more than that. So if I install it, I don't know if you can see it, but it's very quick. It didn't even take 5 seconds. Just install it, and then what you have to do, I have a mock quiz here. It's not graded, it's a mock quiz on syllabus, just to test that the software is actually working, you are familiar with it. So just install the software and take this quiz on syllabus. And that is, you can take it anytime. Anytime I give you the quiz by April 12th. So please make sure you install the software and you take the mock quiz on syllabus just to check that you are good and you know how to use this software. So now this is another important thing, and you will have 5 short case study, and these case studies are really simple, very short, I would say kind of very easy free grade. So if you submit all those, then definitely you will get 10 out of 10. Very short and all are in the weekly folder. But AOL case is a little bit different. It's a special. The case itself is 10% of the grade. And I have some optional article summary, and that will be kind of a backup. So if you miss any case study, we can use those. That means I might have 1 or 2 extra optional case or summary. So if you miss any of those, that you can use. Or if I have 7, I may take like top 5. So that's how, in case you miss any week, that's totally fine. But this is very simple, 1 page, maybe 1 paragraph. You will see, very simple. I made most of the cases. Now, here comes one important thing, and that is actually again for another AOL purposes. So I told you for my course, I have to test two, I have to check 2 assessments. One, I'm using the case. Another, I am using, uh, we will be using a mock CPA test. It sounds scary. CPA test, not everyone is prepared. Well, you were supposed to work on your CPA by that time. But I know some of you already passed 2 or 3 parts, which is great. Many of you haven't started it. But this test, mock CPA, will be at the end of the semester, last day of the semester, and that will have 4 parts. I totally understand that I'm not teaching tax or audit, but I'm not supposed to test you on that part. But this is a part of the program, and this is decided by the department. And I understand that many of you may not do well, but I will make sure that I will carve this mock CPA grade. I'll make it at least 85%. So if you end up with, uh, depending on your class average, if the class average is 6 or something like this, 60% or 6 out of 10, then I'll carve it, I'll make it 8.5 out of 10. So you don't need to worry too much, but at the same time, you have to make sure you take this mock CPA seriously. It will be on all 4 parts. I will just give you all instructions, and that will give you a chance to check where you are and how much our students are prepared to take the CPA exam. Again, it's 10% of your grade. I am repeating and I'm promising, based on the class grade, I will carve it. So you don't need to stress out yourself, but I'm requesting you have to take this one seriously. Now, these are other, I am not going through everything because these are kind of the common standard thing. I would suggest you to read this. Rather, let's focus here. So here you can see we will have three tests. Test 1 to 20%, 20%. Test 3 is, this is the government accounting, little bit intense topic. That will be 30%. So the tests are 70%. Case analysis, article summary 10%, maybe one paragraph or one page per week or something, so that you also have some extra backup. So it's very easy and free, I would say very easy grade that you should not miss it. Now this 20% is for the AOL. One will be the case study, another will be the mock CPA. Again, the mock CPA test will be carved, and the AOL for our course I will grade it, but for the program assessment purposes some other external professors will be grade those, but you don't need to worry. For my course I will grade it, and that will not affect, or at least not make the curve worse. So let's see, any questions so far? Any question? Let me see if everyone is here and if you have any questions. Any questions about the mock CPA? No questions? So are you ready for the CPA? Yes, no, not yet. Just type it on your chat box. Okay, no. Or I know some already. Yeah, I heard, like, I don't know, they postponed, Patrick said about the update and TS. I heard they postponed it until June. And I'm really sorry, I don't know what will happen after June, whether they will open it again, or we have to wait for a couple more months. But I would suggest those who are preparing yourselves, please don't worry. I know i know if you prepare too early and the exam test is not scheduled yet, it's kind of stressful, but I would suggest keep your preparation on, keep your every notes on, and then when they will declare and they will let you know the probable test window or test dates, we will schedule accordingly. But Patrick, I actually didn't hear any more updates, but I know until June everything is postponed, and those tests too. So any more questions so far? Okay, so now let's see. Here we have a quick few other things. The grade range, these are all standards. A, B, C. I just want to request you that for your all grad programs, your minimum GPA must be a 3.0. That means your average grade should be a B. Average, your average grade should be a B. Right, so if you are below 3.0, then you might receive some letter, or you at the end, if it's below C, if you may need to retake the course to get your degree, right? So that's what I would suggest, that please make sure you want to maintain at least a B or on an average B. I know some courses are difficult, it's hard to maintain a B or B plus or A, but for example, my course, I would promise students always say my course is relatively easier than others. So you can target a better grade. In case you miss a B or you ended up with a B minus, try to have B plus, A minus, so that at the end your average GPA is 3.0 or above. But please don't stress out yourself. If you really cannot make any course, you ended up with a C or D, we will figure out some options, either retaking the course or doing it in some other options, independent study. So we will work on completion of your degree. But please make sure you at least target to get a B. So now this is very important. I would suggest you, if you have a printer, just print it out. Print this last 2 pages and put it and hang it with a tape in front of your study table or somewhere else. So these 2 pages are everything that you need to know. For example, the case study, when it is due, the exam dates. So the exams, all exams I have scheduled on Saturday, and it will be open available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's for 2 hours exam, and you can take it anytime on Saturday on this date from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. In case you cannot make it on a Saturday, we have a reserve day Sunday. I mean, the next day I can schedule it. So you will see all exams are on Saturday. So we have to make sure you can make at least 2 hours during that Saturday. If you cannot, again, I'm very approachable and I will accommodate you. I'll schedule it according to your time preference, preferably the next day, not taking so long or not taking it too early. So that's the dates you need to mark on your calendar. So now here the last CPA mock CPA will be on the last Saturday. It's a short exam, 4 parts. Again, 4 parts. We will pick kind of real CPA type of questions, and we will administer this test using the Baker website. I'll give you all instructions. We still have time. This is 4 parts. Each part will have only 10 multiple choice questions. For each part, you will get 15 minutes. I understand you may not be prepared for every part. I'm not teaching you again audit tax, but this is part of the program just to assess how much our students are prepared for the CPA. Some of you already passed part 3 months ago and may forget everything. Some are in the middle. But again, I will carve the grade, but the actual scores will be sent for the assessment purposes. But for our course purpose, I will carve the grade. So you don't need to worry about these 2 parts, which is kind of part of the whole program decided by the department. These 2 parts, these two are not what I am totally teaching. What I am teaching, these 80% grade. But these are part of your learning and those will be carved. Okay, so I think I'm done with the syllabus. Any questions so far? Let me check. SPA. I actually don't know. So SPA, I think when a professor posts any grade, Patrick asked a question when the grades will be released. So Patrick, are you talking about your course grade that you just finished? SPA, when it will be available? Yeah, but I think when a professor posts a grade, the register office usually approves it in couple of hours, or if it's on a weekend, it may take a couple of days, but usually it is done within hours. So once a professor posts the grade, it should be available to the student, either web advisor or SPA, within couple of hours. Again, if it is on a weekend, it may take couple of days, I mean the business day. So I believe I have a conversation, we had a department meeting, even I was checking last Thursday or Wednesday, I didn't see any of the spring grade. I know usually the rule is like 48 hours, but this semester professors are also stressed. I would suggest, Patrick, you just keep your patience, and everyone, I hope all of your spring grades will be available soon in next couple of business days. I believe so. I will also request the professors uh, from their side as quick as possible. So any other question, please? Yes, no, very good. Can I proceed? Yes, Becca, I can see only Becca's face. I cannot see everyone's. That's fine. Now, let's see here. What was our next agenda? So now we actually discussed the syllabus, which was the most important item here. Now I will share you what we are going to do in next couple of weeks. So I actually splitted the course into 3 parts. So if you want to see the first part, if you have your syllabus on, I'm just showing out my slides now. But if you see the syllabus, one third of the course is on standard settings and financial bankruptcy, liquidation, and reorganizations, and couple of articles. Second third of the course is about non-profit accounting, and the last one third of the part is your government and non-profit governmental accounting. So all these parts, these 3 parts will have 3 tests. Nothing is cumulative. Once you are done with this first 3 weeks of lessons, on fourth week you will have your first test, what we learned in the past 3 weeks. Then we will have another 3 weeks of class, you will have your second test. Then we have another few weeks of class and the third test. Nothing is cumulative. So for the first couple of weeks, we will start with a light issue, simple issue. And I am not going very detailed because I already have my recorded slides in my weekly folder. So I'm not teaching you everything, but I'll just give you a little bit of hints what we're gonna learn next week. So let me check here. I have my syllabus here and you can also see it. So when we start our week second, which is actually on Monday, you will start chapter 12. So what is chapter 12 all about? Chapter 12 is all about standard settings and to learn about different acts and Securities and Exchange Commission. You will also learn about the role of SEC, Sarbanes-Oxley Act, and the PCAOB. I would say it's not a very pure accounting. You will see no numbers, no journal entries, but this chapter is really useful for your BEC part. You will see many terms, many acts, especially different type of filings, all you will find those in your BEC part. So I would suggest first watch the lecture video which is already on slides, or at least make sure the real slides you read it. If you don't have your textbook yet, just read the slides, not this one that I posted very detailed in your week 2 folder. Please make sure you read the slides really well. The slides will cover almost 90%, more than 90% of your exams. But I might have a little bit of conceptual, little bit tricky questions, and that to make sure that who actually worked really hard, went over the book, and got everything learned. So that's why I would encourage you to read the book. But if you read the slides, I can assure you should get like almost 90% materials on your exam. So now here you will see what is the role of SEC. So basically that SEC actually makes sure that the financial information is properly disclosed to the external users, and SEC ensures that there is no misstatements, that all those rules, regulations, gaps, everything is properly maintained by the public company. Now you will see here in this chapter that for your SEC's filing purposes, different type of regulations, and you will learn some terminologies, regulation SK, regulation SX, and remember SK is for non-financial information, SX is financial. It's not only the shareholders or external users will learn only about financial numbers, earnings, income statement, balance sheet. They also need to know a lot of non-financial information, and that is also required by SEC. And then you will see a little bit of how the mechanism is working. So Congress actually assigned gap setting authority to SEC. Congress said, okay, SEC, you are the boss, you will set, you will enforce everything. Then SEC actually asked the FASB to set the gap, to set the rules. Remember, FASB is the organization, you all know it, the headquarter is close to us. They actually just make the accounting standards. They don't have any enforcement authority. They cannot do anything if any public company violate any gap. They just make the standard and they say, okay, this is how you're gonna prepare your statement. So all the authority, especially enforcement authority, are taking any actions, legal actions, everything is in SEC's hand. And if FASB makes any rules, SEC also has the power to override any rule, extend it, modify it. Right. So now here in this chapter, you will also learn about the registration process, periodic filings. That means when a company wants to go to public, basically first they need to follow some steps. First, they need to prepare a prospectus. It's known as part 1 prospectus that will be sent to everyone, any potential investors, public, that contains all information, your financial statement, income statement, financial, non-financial information, what are the risks of the business, what are the major customer base, how the business will operate, everything. Part 1 is open to public, and based on this prospectus, your investor will decide when you are going to public whether they will buy your share or whether they will invest in your company. On the other hand, part 2 is only required by SEC. This is kind of any specialized information. If they ask the company to file, then they will file it. And then there are some others, periodic filing. One, you are listed. One, you follow all the registration process. You convert yourself from a private to public company. Then you have to do all these periodic filings. I'm sure you are familiar with all of these. 8Ks might be a little bit new to you. So 8K is not like regularly published. You have to issue this 8K if something significant happened. For example, your CEO resigns, or one of your board of director resigns, or you are going to acquire any company, or you are going to change your auditor. So if you have anything, then you have to issue this 8K within 50 days of your event. So now you will again see a very detailed. I'd suggest you, this is just what you need to learn in next week. So it's only like very basic theoretical conceptual, no number, no accounting. But this is important for your BEC part. Now chapter 13 is of course a little bit accounting, bunch of numbers. You have to do maths. And this is talking about bankruptcy. So you haven't done any bankruptcy accounting. So you probably have heard that company might be bankrupt. So what does it mean? And why it can happen? It happens because of your debt. If you have huge amount of debt, you borrowed or you issued bond, and at certain point you are not capable to meet all those obligations, to pay back interest, to pay back the principal, then you are about to bankrupt. Now there are two types of situations, and you probably have heard chapter 7 and chapter 11. What are those? Well, this chapter 7 and chapter 11, these are kind of legal terms, but in a simple word, chapter 7 means that now you are on that point that you have to liquidate the company. There is no other way that you can continue. So just liquidate the company, liquidate every assets, and close the business forever. Now, on the other hand, chapter 11 is still you are bankrupt, but you are trying to reorganize it. Probably you can issue more debt, or you can ask a part of your board or managements to have some specialized share like preferred stock or common stock, and you are getting another chance, reorganize it, and then do a fresh start and see how you can proceed on. So here you will see first part of this chapter, you kind of have some several legal termination, voluntary bankruptcy, involuntary. Voluntary means the company files itself. Okay, we are bankrupt. What are we gonna do? They go to the court. Involuntary means the creditors filed the petition that, okay, I'm not getting all my principals back, all my interest back, so I'm filing this issue that company needs to be bankrupt and either liquidated or reorganized. Now you will see, like, if you have more than 12 creditors, at least 3 must sign. If you have a small company, less than 12, one at least sign. So these are kind of concepts. Then you will learn about different type of creditors, fully secured. If you issue a bond, that could be backed up by a collateral, like a building or a piece of land. That means fully secured. Fully secured means the value of your collateral is higher than the amount of your loan. Some credits or some loans, some might be partially secured. That means it is secured by an asset, but it does not cover the entire amount of your debt. This is called partially secured. Then you have some unsecured portion of liability. Why this is matter? Because if you decide to liquidate, how we gonna pay to these obligations? We have to follow this order. Of course, fully secured creditors will get first, partially secured will get their secured portion, then whatever remaining we have to distribute it among those other partially secured or unsecured creditors, and at the end, if anything is left over, then you can give those to the shareholders. But now here comes the accounting part, and you will see some maths here, how a company when face liquidation or reorganization, how they actually distribute these obligations and who will get how much. I would suggest please watch my video. I have some sample problems and you can solve it with me. And you saw that I used my Surface Pro. I tried to write it on my board so that as if like I'm writing on board. It's not that I would say sophisticated, but at least if you listen, then you will get some idea how to solve it. So I'm not going very detailed because I hope you will follow everything. At least I would suggest here whatever I post on weekly folder. So here if I take you to the Blackboard again, and I will show you here, you will see in week 2 or 3 again you have all those videos, and then if you have any case study next week you will have all those videos. So I would suggest again, please watch the video, or if you feel bored to watch it or hear it, make sure you read it carefully and you actually do this weekly case study. So everything will be through the Blackboard and all links are here. So you can check ahead. Again, I told you the last 2 pages of your syllabus, you can see what is coming up, and these are very, it looks like so many cases, but this is just like one paragraph or not more than one page, right? So here maybe this is a funny case, you need to pick a recent bankrupt company and just google it and see whether they filed for chapter 7 or 11. That means they did liquidate or reorganize. So these type of very simple things, so that once you read the chapter, do all these theoretical technical problem, then just try to relate it to real world. So these case studies are very simple and you just submit it, you will get full points. Again, I will have some extra case study and article summary, and I might pick like top 4 or 5. That means in case you miss any weekly item, it's totally fine. So let's see, where are we now? And if everyone is awake or sleeping. You are awake, everyone? Yes, no, very good. So far, everything is good. Okay, Karen, I'm happy. I know it's tiring, and I know it's really hard to keep focus on online and WebEx sessions. When we are in class, we are physically engaged. We are in an environment, but when you are home, you will have tons of distractions. It's really hard to keep focus on. But I'm glad that almost everyone showed up, and so far everything is good. So I have the last topic today. So you were supposed to read an article. It's okay if you didn't, but I just want to see how many of you read it or at least download it, at least took a look. Just type it in your chat box. Yes, no, I didn't read it. Okay, Lindsay, Sam did it. Okay, very good. Gab did it. Very good. Kim did it. Okay, very good. Yeah. So, this is actually a Harvard Business Review article. It's again not technical, nothing difficult, but this is an interesting and really important article. It's an old article, but it is really appreciated by the practitioners, accountants, academics. So it is really important, and we will talk a little about this article. Right. So the title, I'll take you to the article. If you already have it, it is already here. If you go to week 1, and then I'll just open it again. Every article and case study, I'll post it. You don't need to buy it. It says that do not copy or post, but when we're gonna use it for teaching purposes, I can share it, I can copy it. But other than that, you should buy it. Okay, so here, what I'm gonna do here, I'll just give you a little bit of idea why do accountants, good accountants, do bad audit. So you will see some are really great, some are actually great accountant, passed the CPA, uh, passed the CPA and got like 90 out of 100 on FAR or audit part. But when they do audit, they actually may not do a good job. So, what are the reasons? So, there are some psychological or human aspects that may protect an accountant to be a good auditor. And the difficult part is that you really cannot mitigate this type of concerns just through some acts or regulations. You really need to be very strict and think of it very deeply. So if you see here, it was asking about some structural aspects of self-serving bias. So what do you mean by self-serving bias? Self-serving bias means that we always have a tendency to reach a quick conclusion, right? And sometimes if something happens kind of we have to reach to a conclusion, we kind of usually are biased to our own judgment or our own beliefs, and that's really very very dangerous. So here the authors, they all are Harvard Business School professors, and they actually identified 3 points from psychological point of view why these are dangerous and why it may hamper your ability to do quality audit. First is ambiguous. So ambiguity means that accounting is not black and white. We have many gray areas. If you see any codification, if you see any standard, you will find several loopholes, several gray areas and ambiguity. So if you have to face these type of areas, you will always see that you will always draw a conclusion based on your subjective judgment. For example, when the revenue will be recognized, there are some issues, and when the expense will be recorded, whether a certain item you should record it as an expense or you should show it as an asset or capitalize it, right? For example, if you extend a part of your parking lot, right, whether you will show it as an expense, parking lot repair expense, or whether this is actually expanding the capacity of your parking lot and it could be treated as long-term assets and you can capitalize those portions, right? So these type of issues are really very very difficult to judge, and you really cannot get an yes or no answer from the accounting standards, right? So how many of you have heard about price line, or like we have different type of agencies that you can use those, right? Priceline or Kayak to book your ticket. Have you heard about that or used any of these? Right. So you know what they do? Just think of it, an organization like it. So if you book a hotel through Kayak or purchase a airplane ticket, so they are not giving you the service of plane flight or hotel flight. They are just working as an intermediary. But if on a certain day Kayak sold air ticket and the total amount of air ticket those who are sold through Kayak is 1 million, should Kayak record this 1 million as their revenue? Yes or no? This is a complicated question. Well, Kayak can think of it, okay, even for few seconds, we own the ticket and then we are giving it to the customer so we can show the huge amount as our revenue. Or there will be another argument, well, you are not giving the service, the flight service, those are through different airlines. You are just working as an intermediary. So you will show only the revenue as the part of your service as an intermediary. So there is huge ambiguity in every aspect. And most of the cases, an auditor will be kind of moving towards his or her own judgment. Second point is attachment. Attachment is really important. What do you mean by attachment? Attachment means that sometimes there will be a close relationship with a client and auditor. Those who are working for a big four or doing internship or have worked, these can be detrimental, right? Because especially if you work for a small firm, right, your own firm or mid-sized firm, you have only few clients, and your earnings or revenues totally depend on only few select clients. Kind of, you will always try to make your client happy, because you will really not be interested to go in a dispute. What if they fire you? You will lose a huge amount of your revenue. So this type of attachment may not make you an independent auditor. Then third point, it's talking about approval. So approval means what? Approval means whether you are kind of approving something biased. That means you are biased to a biased judgment. For example, your clients love aggressive accounting, right? They are not conservative. Now, your own tendency is also like this. You don't care either because of your profit dependency, earning dependency, or for some other reason. Then you are biased to bias judgment. You are approving something biased because of your own biasness, and that will make the problem more difficult. Now, whatever we are talking about, all these psychological factors, that the psychologists explain that there are some issues that are causing these things. What we call familiarity, discounting, and escalation. So we will wrap in a couple of minutes because we are running out of time, but we started a little late. Thank you for your patience, but these are the important aspects. Familiarity means that human human being has a tendency to be friendly to someone and kind of the more tendency to harm someone who is a stranger to you, right? So if you face a person for the first time versus a person for a long period of time, the impression or the feeling may not be same. So your client and an auditor ties, if they are very familiar to each other, then definitely the probability or likelihood of bias will be increased. Discounting means that sometimes we actually ignore kind of the big issue, or we try to focus on kind of sorry, I'm talking about escalation. We ignore the big issue or growing problem, rather we want to focus on some minor issues. So this is another human nature. Sometimes we are really worried about minor issues, and when you do audits, you are concerned with minor technical issues, red flags, but at the same time, you are not giving the big pictures and big problem which is growing. And discounting means that we always try to focus on immediate consequence rather than the long term consequence. So the last 2 points, discounting and escalation, can influence each other. These type of traits, that means we always want to sometimes focus on immediate consequence and small things, rather we forget to focus on the big picture or long term consequence. So the article is talking about some remedies, and then also the explanation. This is, I just went over the overview, but I would suggest you read it carefully because you might have a couple of questions from here on your test. But again, if I request you, please check your syllabus regularly, and please go to the weekly folder, check my announcement, and I can schedule a WebEx, and I can help you in any ways whatever you need. You are not all alone by yourself. I'm always available to help, but you have to do your part. And again, another request to you, you all are grown up, matured, you are responsible. Since I have heard some issues, again, all tests are open book. You can check your own book, own notes, everything. You can keep everything in front of you, but no collaboration, no exchanging. Again, the software will protect you, kind of copy paste, exchanging emails. Still, I would request, please don't try to follow any other ways. The exam time is open. If you cannot make the exam, I can schedule it other time, but please don't do it, especially exchanging, sharing the exams to other students. If you take the exam ahead, say for example you took it in the morning and your friend is taking in the afternoon, but you cannot share anything about the exam, that was an exam, I didn't get it, please don't do it. This is for the sake of yours, not for me. This is for the sake of yours. I know we all are passing a difficult time, but this is another test we are facing. This is the time to make ourselves pure, to make ourselves strong. And we cannot compromise our main goal, which is learning. And I really appreciate all of your patience that you all are in. And now, for last minute, I will just ask you, if you have any question, you can type it or you can ask me or anything. Any question so far? No question? Are we good to go? So I try to make it short because everything you have in your weekly folder, if you go, you will find all the video lectures, everything. So I don't want to stretch it for like 2.5 hours, but I wanted to give you an overview. So everything is fine. How are you doing? Anyone is interested to talk to me? I see everyone's microphone is muted. That's fine. But just pretend that as if we are in a live class and I don't see all of your faces. I'm missing you, everyone. But if you have anything to share, anything to talk, please feel free to email me. And I also posted my cell number, especially during the exam. You can call me anytime if you have any question while taking an exam or any time. So any question? So you are all. Do you have any other WebEx session today? No, this is the only WebEx. So online teaching, different professors. You have valuation, Karen. You had valuation. Yeah. So I think Professor Steve Fay did this in the morning. Hi, Jordan. How are you? Good to see you. Are you playing? I know this time is different. Are you playing this semester?
Um, as of right now, no, but potentially in the fall I could end up playing again. So,
Okay, very good. How is the MBA going?
the MBA is going really well. Um, I'm on my last bit of classes right now. I'm taking my capstone and then business strategy and analysis right now, and then your class, of course.
Very
So
good.
these are my last ones.
Okay, good, good. I'm
Mhm.
missing you in accounting, but I know MBA will be helpful. But don't forget about your CPA. You are not doing MSA,
Um,
you are doing MBA. Doesn't mean that you'll forget CPA. Tomorrow
yeah, I know.
makes the future, right, Jordan?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And okay, I see here Lauren and who else? Okay. So any more question, anyone? And this whole session is recorded. If I see everyone is here, I'm very, very glad that you showed up. But I'll also post this recorded one. But recorded, the audio quality might not be good. And I was trying to do whether I'll do every session WebEx versus I will do my own video and record it. For my undergrad class, students actually prefer to post the videos rather than live WebEx. What do you think? Live WebEx versus recorded video that you can watch it again and again, or doesn't matter? It's called like synchronous asynchronous sessions. The WebEx live one, yeah, Lauren, yeah, most of the students said the same thing, Lauren, like you, that either way is good. Yeah, I know. Because if I record the lectures, you can watch it according to your convenience. It's open for the whole week. I mean, it's open for the whole semester. But on Monday, you will know you have to watch these three videos, solve these three problems. You can do it anytime. I can do WebEx too, but the WebEx problem is that I was trying to use a pen, a smart pen, if I can write it, it's not convenient because for another recording, the app that I use for writing, it was not working. That means I can do live class, but when I have to do hands-on problems, it's really difficult to do through WebEx. But I believe if you watch the video, you all will be fine. And again, the solutions are there. If you just do it by reading solution, that's fine. But watching video will also be very, very helpful. And I know a couple of your friends are not yet registered. I send them email, but if you know anyone, your friend in your group, your class, just convey the message that we all are in. We already have our first sessions. So please make sure you register the course. Other than that, you're gonna miss everything. And from next Saturday, you will have your assignments and reading due. Okay, so everything is good. So should we leave now? Yes, no, very good. Okay, Patrick, of course, we will end the meeting. Thank you very much, everyone. But I truly miss you. But I hope we will be in touch. Okay, take care, everyone, and stay safe. Bye bye.